What?
Hey, Danny.
Hello.
Hey, Danny boy. I'm sure no one's ever said that to you. Oh man, I'm having problems with my tracking lately. Okay, it's fine.
Oh, you got both audios going on right now.
Yeah, unfortunately, because when I run away, then you can hear me still. La-di-da-da-da. It's gonna be annoying and something you have to deal with.
Because I want to record the Discord audio because it's better.
Yeah.
But I don't want it to have both when I'm posting.
I'm gonna record this. I'm
I'm recording it too. I'm also recording it.
And then we'll give it a trip nap and he can cut it into something crazy.
Yum 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 yum. Alright.
Oh, that didn't work. GeForce Experience.
What's it doing?
Yeah, because I can't mute you in game. If I could mute you in game, that'd be great.
Sorry, buddy. I mean, it's kind of hard because if I run away, then no one can hear me.
Trip,
Oh
fetch,
my God.
fetch. Go fetch.
GeForce Experience. God.
Who's this?
I'm just currently up. I have to update GeForce Experience every time I boot it up because NVIDIA is a bunch of
Ooh,
jerks.
right there.
I got it. Here you go.
Yes, he's on Red's team.
Okay.
Cool. Oh boy.
Oh no, I'm not dead. Damn it, Danny.
Fella, it's just you. You
What are
cooked
they doing
it.
over there?
You cooked it. They're just having a nap.
I'm just gonna in the radio.
Are you both still alive?
No, wait, don't kill him. Oh, you guys are so together.
Alright.
Oh boy. Oh, I'm dead.
What?
Done.
That'd be done. Turn into an orgy.
Okay, stop it, stop
Alright,
it.
now my recording's going on, so now serious time. Jump back in. Hey, it's Game Wizard. Game Wizard, get on the other side.
Here.
Alright, get to the other side. Other side, Game Wizard.
Hey. Just the tips. Hey guys.
Hey, Game Wizard, do you want to get on the practice team one so you can hear me when I'm streaming at you guys?
I'm gonna lobby you. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
No. Okay, that's the last kill. No more kills. No more kills.
Okay, everybody leave their weapons here.
No. Well, we're more responsible than that, and we need them to shoot and get.
Now I got 2. Ready?
Once Game Wizard gets back, we'll start being serious.
One thing I learned from watching Trip's stream is how much he has attention deficiency.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's got some problems.
Yeah.
But he's.
Sometimes I was like, wait, training something is saying something important, and I don't know what it
yeah,
is
this
because
is
it's shooting something.
The problem was I thought that it was recording the Discord audio, and it wasn't last time. Now it is, so I'll hear him no matter what.
That's good. Oh. Okay, no more killing. No more killing. Bad Game Wizard. You have to take. You have to put your gun down. Your knife down. Every time you use something. Okay, that's good. No. No.
Oh.
Bad trip.
Oh. That was bad.
Alright.
I'm gonna start crying in my headset.
Oh boy.
Oh, so much stuff. So much stuff.
Oh, why do we give Trip more grenades? Why do I give him grenades? Why did I get the grenades? I got the grenades. I got the grenades. Oh, he's got the
You
grenades.
can't run with that. No.
Grenade. Okay.
Oh, wait, I have one more. Hold on. Let me just get rid of this. Ready? I was gonna throw it up.
No more grenades. Yeah, that's gonna come back down. Oh, he's getting more grenades. Okay, guys. Oh god. No more grenades. Yeah, you can't get it out. You're not getting my grenades. All right. So the best thing to do would be to probably start at the south side. South side. Can you guys still hear me?
Yep.
Good. So cargo's gonna be a little shorter today because it's very small. There's only 2 spawns on cargo. Watch that over here. This is 1 spawn. I don't know. He's skating. Da. Uh-oh.
Generation Kill, if anyone knows what I'm doing.
A good show.
We could do
All right.
Onward on Ice.
Onward on Ice. Okay. So. All right. So.
I'm wondering where that went.
All right. Now that we have all our guns in place, there's only 2 spawns on cargo. This is one of them. Sometimes it'll be Vogue. Sometimes it'll be Marsoc. For example, we're going to just do sort of the close things. This is the south side. So usually if you're like dictating anything on cargo, you're usually going left or right. So whatever side you're on. There is one exception for that, but we'll talk about that in a bit. Some really key defense points here. Actually,
we'll sort of mute one of your voices.
No, unfortunately, just got to deal with it.
Difference is making it hard.
Oh, it's making you... Okay, well, if you stay close to me, if you turn off Discord, then you can just hear me in the real life.
So, I'm going to try something real quick.
Gotcha.
I am going to mute the game.
Yeah.
And I'm only going to be able to hear you through Discord. So, if someone else needs to talk to me, they got to relay through Trayton.
Sounds good.
Holy crap, I got told.
Yeah, looks like
you're floating.
Things are off.
There we go.
All right, so now you have to stay close to me. Trip can run around wherever he feels like. And it'll be good like that. Okay, so, who killed Game Wizard?
He killed himself.
He killed
I swear.
himself.
Okay.
I swear.
He's not doing his floaty thing over there.
This is definitely the least coordinated one we've done yet. All right, so let's just get into it because it'll be easier if I keep talking. So, there's a few objectives in this level, and we'll go through the south objectives first. There's only 2 objectives on the south. One of them is right here, and this is probably one of the most capable ones. Actually, the southern objectives are way more capable. The objectives are right here-ish area. And the key thing about this is that there's a lot of spots that you can come at it from. So just coming in here, you can cap behind this area, you can cap over here, and this what makes this, you hear me?
We're good.
Great, alright, everyone install Trip now.
Oh, I can hear everyone. I figured
Oh,
it
okay.
out.
Yay! Did you meet Discord? Okay, anyways, Trip distracted me. Never mind Trip. So, we've got an objective here, and the issue with this one is that it's very, very hard to, defend. So, because people can come around from here, people can come through here, and with this objective, what you want to do is try and put as many smokes on it as possible, because it's got so many attack angles, it's going to be really hard to defend. That's a good... You can cap there, you can, I think, even cap here. And then as for when you're attacking this, it's always a good idea to put a grenade down here. Sometimes I like to hide right here. If you get down real low, you can actually stick your body in the wall and just be right here. And then stabby when someone comes around. But that's also, you're also prone to having to look that way, and having to watch for there. We'll go through the other objective and then kind of go through the basic callouts. A lot of these containers don't really have callouts. People don't use a ton of callouts in them. The other objective is right here. And the objective right here is also another very capable one because there's a lot of angles to come through on this level. So one thing you can do is you can't come through that, but you can go around here. So you can go around through that dark alleyway and then come around here. And then the other one you can do is you can cap right here. And that's actually a pretty good spot to cap because if you're kneeled down, you can see pretty much everyone in front of you and you can hear anyone that's trying to run up behind you. Because if you can cap within 10 seconds, you can usually get it. As for defensive spots, there's some fairly common ones. One is right here, because you can kneel down and watch almost the entire lane. The only thing from this defensive spot that you can't tell is right around the corner, because you can crawl up and cap right here, and you can't be seen from that position.
Stay there.
So that's like a bit of a dangerous position, which is why you need other people guarding the other places. A huge place that a lot of people play, but it's becoming very, very common, is right back here. It's a really good spot because you can see anyone crossing. No one can get into the objective without you seeing them, but people will pre-fire on it because it's so obvious. With here, you want to stay as... you can stay in there, but it's a little bit easier to be seen. The back part is a lot better because it's just so low, and if you stay really low, it's hard for them to shoot you. If you guys go back, you can actually see how hard it is to see me in the back here. Disappear?
No, you don't. The farther away we get, the more visible you are.
Well, it's still harder to see than nothing.
The closer we get, you're pitch black, but the farther away we get,
Well, that is helpful.
Shader stops working.
One thing I want to show you guys is, can someone go around that second grate?
Not me. Oh, can I do it? Can I do it? Can I do it?
Yeah, try shooting. So invincible crates. Oh boy. These are invincible crates. You can only shoot through one layer of
Wait, you can shoot through
crate.
one?
You can shoot through one. It does decrease a lot, but you can shoot through two. So you can hear. So just keep that in mind. Often what will happen is that if you're on this objective and everyone else dies, the other person is sometimes coming through the tunnel, which we'll talk about in a second, and you can peek out and you can see them, but then now you can see them, but you don't know what to do because they can see you as well, and then there becomes a battle. One of the greatest times ever was when I saw a guy there, I pull out a flash, threw it there, and then he flashed and killed him. So that's one option to do.
I can't see.
Yeah, so it gets really hard. If you're really close to here, it's very easy to see through the other way, but you can't get seen through. If you've got a better video card, you can often see a lot easier. All right, moving on.
Moving on. Moving on up.
Moving on up. So part of Traden's thing is, what is this called?
A tunnel.
Tunnel.
Got it right, yay, tunnel.
This is Danny's home.
Yep.
Yeah?
That's where I live.
Sweet.
And that little corner over there.
Can you scoot over real quick?
Right.
I'm gonna show them a little trick.
What's the trick? Alright, let's back up a bit.
Can you see me?
Now, that is great, but that's super illegal in the league. I did not know about that.
Not on the rules, damn it.
I know, but that's like,
I wanna try that. I wanna try that.
that is definitely illegal, so don't.
Broken.
Hey, is that a gray zone?
I think you could, oh shit, I never even knew you could go there. That's not, that's
Not cheating.
not cheating, but that is cheating, because in real life you couldn't climb up there.
Live.
Where's
Because
that? Where's that?
you just couldn't do that in real life. You guys should definitely use that spot because it's super cheap until it gets banned.
Can't move.
Well, no. If you can fit, you're fine. That's
Yeah,
what I
that's
do.
totally legal.
Wait, move. I wanna try
Okay.
it.
I've never seen anyone go there.
Space, I think you're fine.
Yeah, as long as you don't fuck around with the play space and it's not banned. This one is illegal because it's kind of glitchy. Again, it's like,
Question,
yes,
sir.
trip.
I have a 15 square foot play space.
Well, and are you bragging
Can
right
I
now?
do this?
What?
Or is that illegal? I'm standing at the edge of my play space.
That's
or I
fine.
can go all the way over.
Yeah.
It's over here.
Yeah, that's fine.
But I don't make noise when I walk back and forth, right?
Yeah, but that's fine. You're not going to be making noise if you're moving at a speed anyways. Like, I don't make noise when I'm moving this fast.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I could go like...
Well, that's fine. I mean, there was some
I was
problems.
told that it was illegal by some other people.
Oh,
And I
well.
just wanted to verify.
No, you
I
can.
think it's fine. I haven't heard anything about that.
The thing that is illegal is you moving and running at the same time. So you're physically moving and running with the joystick or the thingy. That's illegal, and the devs are working on it to reduce that gained speed that you're getting. Because people were
So
just
one thing people are doing is to get extra speed is they'd run and then they'd use snap turn and
with
turn
snap
around in
turn,
their
yeah.
display space and
That
then
would
run. So
make
they'd
me
basically been
lose my
running
shit.
back and forth, and you can actually get a lot of speed with that. But that's super illegal, so don't do that. You can just move around in your display space.
like that, exactly like that. Boom.
Wow.
Yeah, wow.
Holy shit.
So don't do that in the league tournament, whatever.
End up yanking my computer off the table, so.
That's fair. So again, some of the call-outs is that's the tunnel, that's the back of the tunnel entrance, or sorry, tunnel back, tunnel, and then the tunnel entrance is the other side. Running through here, I think this is sometimes called the 3-story or the 3 container. Now, there's really, really important callouts because these four middle buildings are super important, and people don't use the callouts that much, but GlobalCam uses them very effectively. Each one of these is called mid 1, 2, 3, and 4, and it's always mid 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you're coming from the north, it's still mid 1, 2, 3, and 4.
That's for you, Trey.
Trip, did you get that,
Yeah.
Trip? Did you get that?
Look, my thing is, if
No.
we call them out
No.
incorrectly from coming the other way, we will confuse them, and they'll be like, "Oh, they don't know where I am," and then they'll walk around a corner, and I'll shoot
Hey,
them.
no shooting. Yeah, that's fine, but again, let's just keep it simple. Once Captain Hats decides to be super pro, they can do that. But yeah, so mid 1, 2, 3, and 4. And yeah.
He deserves to get shot for that.
Especially on level, it's really important to have control over these things, especially at higher league play levels, because as soon as people get past here, you're really falling back on a lot of weak defensive spots, especially on this for these objectives. If you can be controlling these, you suddenly have, if you're panicking someone around there, they have to run around if they're the last one in there, and you can hear them, especially from these spots. And I mean, it's pretty dark in here.
What's the best way to remember which one's one?
I haven't figured that out yet because there's no school bus here.
No, but the tunnel is.
Tunnel's 1. Tunnel's number 1. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
Nice, Rose. That's good. Awesome.
See?
So again, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And now this is sort of the middle point of the whole map and where a lot of the action will often happen. This is tunnel entrance. Oftentimes people will be hiding around in the back, and I usually have my gun out when I go through it because unless you, like, there's people shooting there all the goddamn time.
Yeah, that's where Lawson got shot.
Yeah. And, yeah, lots of shooting. This is usually the place where if you're coming through the tunnel, there's a slight opening, like you can see where the defensive points are, and usually you're getting here. One thing you really got to watch out for is if I duck down here, stop getting inside me, dirty bastard. If you guys look around the corner here, go around the corner, you can see my butt.
No,
Right?
I can't see your butt yet.
Oh yeah.
What about now?
Yep, right now.
What about now?
Yeah.
Yeah, so when you're here, do not go close to this because people will shoot. I will shoot you through the butt because I don't care, even though it's a little cheap. Just be a little bit further out here because this wall is paper thin. Yeah, and this is called the little red half box, I believe. And then this is black half box or something along those lines. I still am not very good at these callouts because usually everything's so quick that you're not really doing callouts that much. All right. So this is sort of for the defensive points here, and there's 2 objectives. There's an objective here, and then there's an objective on the back. Oh, I'm stuck inside someone again. There we go. There's an objective on the back.
Now this
Right
one,
here.
this one you can do from here, right?
Yes, you can. Yeah. So for those 2 objectives, really the defensive points are usually trying to get past this area. So a very common defensive spot is right here. You can almost always count, or you can always count on someone being here because unless you've got your butt back here where you can get shot in the butt, and usually people aren't looking out there because they'll just get rocked real hard, people will usually be here waiting. You can hear people coming through the tunnel, you can hear them if they've got the shield or anything, and you have full control across the map. You literally cannot go by this part without smokes, like if anyone comes along here. Oh, so hard. But I mean, that's why you hear that flash, you run around the corner, shoot. The other defensive spots on this level for especially passing this center spot are at the barrels. This is called the barrels.
I like the pipes.
Pipes works too, whatever you guys want to call it, but it's barrels in my mind. Right here, because
I like the pipes over there.
oh yeah, that's a good one as well. But this is again a very important thing, especially if it's down to just one of you. If you're back here, you can see literally everyone coming across, and it's pretty hard to nade this spot. Because to nade it, you have to get a nade effectively there. If you get a nade there, you're gonna be fine. If you get a nade over there, you're probably gonna be covered by this guy. See, like there, that would have been an effective nade, but you probably wouldn't be out there. You usually have to come up very tight here because there's other places that you can get shot. Another really important defensive spot is right here, which is the dark room.
That was way too far. Okay.
Same with dark room. You can see right across the level. The only disadvantage of this is you have a little bit less time to shoot someone if they're running across. So if I'm the last person and someone runs across at the end and I miss them, then I have to immediately rush out and try and kill them because they could get around the back and camp. Yeah. Let's see what else is up.
The yellow.
I got stuck in here in a game one day and it really sucked. Don't go in there.
You call that the yellow room?
I think that's dark room. I think yellow room's over there. Yes. No, wait. I'm gonna have to get back to you on that. I'm pretty sure that's the dark room. That I think is the yellow room.
Yeah.
What else? Okay, so some more stuff. Here is usually where you have a lot of defensive spots. So here it's quite dark, so it's a lot easier to lie down and sort of watch this angle. This angle, you can see anyone trying to move up on your buddy over there. So right here is pretty good. Or if you stay back here, you can wait for people to come around and you can shoot them. The other nice thing about this position is that you can hear people coming or fucking around over here. Because often they're trying, like on this level, people are trying to get a flank so that they can shoot you in the back. And if you can hear them coming if they're running, or if they're going very slowly, you can see them because if they're like trying to creep around.
Hey, I'm stuck. Hello.
You got stuck?
I'm not.
You need me to fix
Hello?
it?
No, don't. No, bad.
How'd you get
Can I
up
cover
there?
your eyes?
I don't know.
Does that work?
I've already got the...
Let's try it again. Oh shit, we're stuck. We're stuck.
Is
We're
that
stuck.
bulletproof behind this wood over here?
I can't remember.
Oh, there you go. There you
No,
go.
that wood is probably not. I'm pretty sure
There you
that wood is not bulletproof.
Let's jump here.
Yeah, it's definitely not. All right, thanks, Trip. Your sacrifice will be remembered. 100%. Rise, Trip. Rise up.
Yeah. I shot
Yeah, so I mean, don't use these are not defensive positions. They are to hide your position so you can shoot someone. As for back there, usually I haven't seen a lot of battles happening back here in this area just because usually no one gets around to the back. If they do get around to the back, they're probably screwed anyways. Almost no one comes back here anymore. I think they used to earlier versions.
I'm always over there.
So the problem with being over there is that you don't really have a lot of coverage because someone can come in and cap here.
I stay right here and I watch the objective. Yeah, I know, but the thing is, oh, all right. But
Just around the corner.
if I have somebody here watching inside, and I know that there's a green spot looking in there, I can watch this side. And I've had people come from the other side and.
So that's probably a good meta example of people don't really look back there anymore because a lot of people aren't using it. So then people are getting killed from there now. Yep, which is good. For the cap, you can cap through the inside this building on the back side of the for the objective behind the red thing. So it's easy to cap there. And then in here in this dark room, which I don't remember what it's called, I think it's the yellow building, you can actually cap from in here on that front objective. So you can cap in this corner. So you always want to watch this area because if someone gets around here, you can cap in there. Or this objective.
What? That's way too far away. Are you shitting me?
I'm not shitting you, buddy. I think the objective's like right about here anyways, so that's pretty close.
I had to give the last objective I capped a rectal exam before I could cap it.
Whoa, buddy. That is stream friendly, I think.
Deep.
As for the defenses here, usually you're looking at having people like here, and then also a person being back here as coverage, just to make sure no one rushes around. You'll see people behind here watching sort of that approach because you can see right through the mid one quite easily.
And you're too tall. You need to get shorter.
Yeah, you gotta get shorter. Much shorter. And then, yeah, what else? Some other things I want to talk about. Just keep in mind that some people, including myself, like to lie down below things, and you can't shoot under them. And so I will use that quite a bit. Although I'm using it less and less because people are figuring it out. But again, like you can get some pretty sweet kills if you know where someone is, and you can just hit the deck and watch under one of these containers.
Okay, so metal containers, bulletproof, yes?
Yeah.
If you stand on the other side of that door.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's just not bulletproof if you shoot it. If you
Yeah.
Yeah, I think everything on this level is pretty much bulletproof except for the crates. The crates are not bulletproof.
One ring.
Yeah, and also, again, when we were talking about putting your butt through stuff, people will get really panicky and get really close into these corners, and then you can see. So, can you see me through there? And even if like people decide not to be cheap and shoot you through the wall, they at least you know you're there and you're pretty much dead.
Yeah, and they can
boy.
shoot your feet under the cargo doors, right?
Yes.
Yes,
Yep,
they can.
yep.
So there's a few cargo doors.
And knife.
What was that?
You can knife people. And
Can you knife?
That's not.
No,
You
you cannot.
oh, pardon me.
It has a collider. No,
Yeah, there's if you put your knife through the wall, I don't think it can kill you.
Can you see this?
I can see that, and I can kill that.
Can you?
I can stab your hand.
Try it. Ow, ow,
Yeah,
ow.
it works. Just like real life, you get a hand stab and you die. Super realistic. What else? Okay, do you guys have any questions about cargo? Because I mean, this is a pretty small map.
Can we play?
That's not a question.
I thought I heard. I got a
Yeah.
real question. I thought someone said someone was on a roof. Can somebody go up there?
No.
So in the operations, there is one guy that spawns on the roof, but you can't get on the roof in this level yet.
Oh,
There's two guys
okay.
actually. There's two
Oh,
guys.
there's two guys?
One at the beginning and one at the end. On
We
both
talked
sides,
defensive
there's guys on the roof
Yeah.
sometimes.
But what about what are the most
Okay, because
That's a good point.
what are the best
I must have been playing operations then.
All right, so we're going to talk about approaches because that was a very good idea. So we'll talk about going north first. So just with all of the, or with this level, you've got a lot of trying to get to position as fast as possible. So when it comes down to here, a lot of the times you'll like, smoke this lane so you don't get shot from behind that thing coming up, and you're trying to get up to this middle as quickly as possible. People will pre-fire quite often on these levels. So, for example, when I'm playing this level, I'm going to get about here, and then I'm really going to start watching to see if anyone's coming around. Because people will pop out and fire immediately, because there's so little space in this level that they'll see you quite quickly. Often you'll find if you get up to this point, there'll already be someone in mid 2 right there, ready to start shooting you. As for approaches, here's a really important thing. When you spawn or you're moving across, you can see straight down. If you come out here, you can see straight down the thing. So when you're on defense, especially for this objective, because you spawn on that side, when you're moving out here, either you want to put a smoke over there so you can conceal your movement, or you want to have someone just firing down there to try and stop their movement. If you're on defense here, that side is going to try and try and stop you from moving around here. Because if you haven't got across this side, then it's a lot harder to defend that objective. So just keep in mind, a lot of these things are like the angles that you can see in this level and like what you can see right on spawn. Often people, because people are pretty predictable, when you're coming up here, there's going to be people popping through and immediately like firing on each other as they come through these doors, because it's so obvious that a lot of the time the people are here. When you're spawning from on this side, usually getting up here, I'm watching, if you guys want to come in here and see me where I shoot, I'm watching that area right there. I'm watching that right there, because people will know that someone's waiting here to shoot you, and because of Peeker's advantage, where they shoot before that you even see them, they'll often kill you. Yeah. Smokes are really, really important on this level because you can stop people from seeing where you're moving. So a lot of the time we'll put smokes up here and actually like just blanket the whole area with smokes, because then you're restricting what can be seen all over the place.
But remember, kids, if you can't see them,
They can't see you. Other things are like, this is a really important defensive spot, but it's often pre-fired upon. This is a really important spot because it's often pre-fired upon. because it's very dark and it's very easy to like watch people. Like you can't even see his helmet there, and this is a pretty standard approach, especially on this objective. So sometimes you'll have people throwing grenades in there, or you'll have a smoke right there so they can't get to you. These are going to be very intense battles when you're coming through this as quickly as possible.
Or you can hide where he's hiding and wait for them to come past.
There you go. What are some other things? So one thing that I'll often, for flanking, the ideal situation when you're on defense is try and flank around the offense. I do this quite a bit, especially when we're on that side of the map. And we've got that middle defense. If you can get around to this side, so you're coming through here and you're basically going as quickly as possible and popping out here and watching for the silhouettes of any enemies right there. So you're watching there and there. They already have tried to get up to that spot. So you're watching to come around here, and then you're going in a tight circle and shooting people in the back. Because what will happen is the offense will get up to these areas, and they're trying to look forward. And if you come around behind them and shoot them in the back, it makes you feel good, and you win a lot. Really important things also about cargo is that it's very noise sensitive level. You can hear a lot of people moving around. Even hear you can hear people from quite a far distance away, just because the map's so tight. So just keep in mind your sound. With sound, if you're running, they're going to hear you. But if there's a lot of firing and stuff going on, you can usually get that suppressed. If you're approaching from this side, the things you want to watch out for is that really cheap spot that we just found in the back, right at the back of the level there. This is like whenever I come out into this spot, I usually die. So we're putting a smoke down here, and if we're coming through here, we're going to pre-fire on everything because there's almost always someone coming down there. But then they obviously know that you're going through a tunnel.
Yeah, you had me once lie down at the end of that.
Did I? That's cool.
As defense.
Did it work?
Yes.
Sweet. So that works. Yay. So the offense is that you're trying to get up to this middle spot and then watch for people popping out to try and get you. And then sending grenades, like this is a really important grenade. I didn't do that very well, but whatever. I did the objective, but you're getting up to this spot, you're putting smokes down to cause a lot of confusion, you're getting grenades in there to kill everyone, and then you're charging in. Because the main thing is once there's fewer and fewer people, they're gonna start so it comes down to a lot more chaos where you're just like popping in a corner and someone's looking the wrong way and you shoot them in the back. As for flanking on this level, getting up the tunnel is awesome. It's very hard to do just because there's so many people there and they're watching for you. But if you can get up to the tunnel, you want to clear that area right there. And then you want to come out and clear this area. And usually if you come out of the tunnel, instead of going back this way, you're usually going through this back and getting out here. Where you'll see other things like the guy that's waiting for you in that building. Cargo's pretty predictable and like where people will be. So once you get killed from enough places, a lot of the time you kind of come to expect where people are going to be, and there's not a whole lot of hiding spots. The key, with cargo especially, it's important to come down to the last round because usually it turns into 1v1s. And what you want to do with cargo is you want to try and distract where they're going, because if you're on defense, you're going to have to be looking everywhere. And if you know there's only one or two left, it's an advantage to you because you can see where everyone's going. And you can sort of throw in smokes, cause a lot of confusion, come in and kill them. All right. Does you have any questions about approaches? Probably better to just run them. Nope. Any other questions about cargo? I don't have to redo it. I think we're gonna do it. Trip nip. You always do it.
Who did it? Game. Of course it was game.
Oh crap.
Alrighty.
Of course it was you.
So
I think with these teams are gonna win.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna go start a lobby?
I'm gonna start a lobby. Same code.
Alright.
Same path.
I'm killing everybody at the end.
Alrighty, how do I want to split this up?
I don't know.
I think Ferris is coming.
I need to take a bio break. I'll be right back.
Sounds good.